Welcome back with another video on tryhackman.com. This is Zaheen Nazir and we are doing Cybersecurity 101. So, our initial estimate was to complete everything by 2nd of November 2024. And before we continue, we have still 3 days to go and I'm very behind. So, for next 2 days, I'm gonna publish a lot of videos. Let's continue with where we had left. In the previous video, we worked on the set skill room, and in this video we're gonna go with the Linux fundamentals part 1. Let's get into it. Share achievement. Okay, what I'm gonna do is reset the progress. We're gonna start it again. Here we go. So we have from task 1 to task 9. Oh wow. Let's continue. Welcome to the first part of the Linux Fundamental Room series. You are most likely using a Windows or Mac machine. Both are different in visual design and how they operate. Just like Windows, iOS, and macOS, Linux is just another operating system and one of the most popular in the world, powering smart cars, Android devices, supercomputers, home appliances, enterprise servers, and more. We'll be covering some of the history behind Linux and then eventually starting your journey of of being a Linux wizard. This room will have you running your very first command in an interactive Linux machine in your browser, teaching you some essential command used to interact with the file system, demonstrate how you can search for files and introduce shell operators. Okay, awesome. So the first task we have completed. On to the second one. A bit of background on Linux. Where is Linux used? It's fair to say that Linux is a lot more intimidating to approach than operating systems OS such as Windows. Of course, Windows is very user friendly, and since you are using Windows from very start, excuse me, and especially if you don't have any background with Linux, it will be really intimidating at the first time, but once you get used to it, it will the phase will pass out eventually. Both variants have their own advantages and disadvantages. For gaming, most Windows is the master there, right? For example, Linux is considered much more lightweight, and you would be surprised to know that that's a good chance you have used Linux in some form or another every day. Linux powers things such as website that you visit, car entertainment control panels, point of sale POS systems such as checkout tills and register in shops, critical infrastructure such as traffic lights controller or industrial sensor. Okay, flavors of Linux. The name Linux is actually an umbrella term for multiple OS that are based on Unix and other operating system. Thanks to Linux being open source, variant of the Linux come in all shapes and sizes, suited best for what the system is being used for. For example, Ubuntu or Ubuntu and Debian are some of the more commonplace distribution of the Linux because it is so extensible. You can run Ubuntu as a server such as website or web application, or as a fully fledged desktop. For this series, we are going to be using Ubuntu. Ubuntu server can run on system with only 512 MB of RAM. That is awesome. Similar to how you have different versions, Windows 7, 8 and 10, Vista, XP, if you know about this, Windows 8, 98, Millennium, maybe there was a 95, but I started using 98. There are many different versions distribution of the Linux. Research. What year was the first release of the Linux operating system? 1969. Okay, let's search it out and we will find out. Okay, 1991, really? Okay. Awesome, that was correct. Okay, so before we do anything, we need to start the machine. Okay, it is loading. Let's continue. So the task 3 is interacting with your first learning machine in browser. We already deployed it and they are just telling you that what you need to do in order to start it. I have deployed my first learning machine. I have deployed it, of course. We're still loading, but we can continue to task 4. All right. Running your first few commands. As we previously discussed, a large selling point of using OS such as Ubuntu is how lightweight they can be. This of course does not come without its disadvantages, where for example often there is no GPU, GUI, GUI, a graphical user interface, or what is also known as desktop environment that we can use to interact with machine unless it has been installed. A large part of the interacting with these system is using the terminal. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're using GUI to do that, some of the commands are running on the terminal behind the scene and just giving you the output on the user interface. The terminal is purely text-based and is intimidating at first. However, if we break down some of the commands after some time, you quickly become familiar with using the terminal. So here's the terminal, enter command here. This is not actually the command, it's just a text. We need to be able to do basic functions like navigate to files, output their content, and make files. The commands to do so are self-explanatory. Once you know what they are, of course, let's get started with 2 of the first commands which I have broken down in the table below. So we have echo and we have who am I. Outputs any text that we provide, and who am I will find out what user we are currently running logged in as. Okay, so here we go. See the snippet below for an example of each command being used. So let's type this out. We have echo and then hello world. Man, come on. Hello world. Using who am I to find out the username as who is logged in. Sure, who am I. You also type this who am I on the web browser to find out your IP addresses. If we want to output the text try hack me, what would our command be? Very simple. Echo then try hack me, and it should work fine. Okay, let's go without the quotation and it should still work. Let's try this. Try hack me. Yeah, it still works because there is no space, so we don't need to put it in quotation. What is the username of who you are logged in as your deployed learning machine? So we already have done so. So this is try hack me. I'm able to copy this. Yes. So it is try hack me and we are good to go. Awesome. Interacting with the file system. So far, we have only covered the echo and who am I commands, not all that useful when you consider things that we need to do, including navigating the file system, read and write to it as well. In this task, we are going to be learning the commands so that we can do just that. Just like the previous task, I will display the commands in the table in the next heading and show example of these commands being used. Okay, interacting with the file system. Sure. As I previously stated, being able to navigate the machine that you are logged into without relying on a desktop environment is pretty important. After all, that's the point of logging in if we can go anywhere. Okay, so this is a command ls listing cd is change directory, cat is concatenate to show the content of the file. PWD is print working directory. So let's try all of this. ls will show me all the things that we have. There is an advanced version of ls which is ls la. It will show everything that is hidden in a nice format. Then we have cd. cd is to go to the folder, for the folder 1. We are inside the folder 1. If you go to ls, there is nothing. If you go ls la, as you can see, we have 2 shortcuts or the directories. One is dot and one is double dot. So In order to move back, we go with the double dot and we are to the parent directory now. Now, what is the cat? So cat, we can do, for example, access.log, and oh wow, so it will just print out whatever the file has, as you can see here. And pwd is just printing the current working directory, which is home and tryhackme. Awesome. Listing file in our current directory. Before we can do anything such as finding out the content of any files or folder, we need to know what exists in the first place. This can be done using the ls command, short for listing. We already done so. ls. In the screenshot above, we can see there are following directories: folder, import file, my document, notes, and pictures. Oh wow. They mention all of these files like we are exploring Windows operating system. Good, you are probably take a guess as to what to expect a folder to contain given by its name. Pro tip, you can list the content of a directory without having to navigate to it by using the ls and the name of the directory. Let's do that. Let's go with the home directory. So we have two users, tryhackme and Ubuntu, and currently we are in tryhackme. If I print out the print working directory, which is home and tryhackme, changing your current directory. Okay, now that we know that what folder exists, we need to use the cd command, short for change directory, to change to that directory. Say if I wanted to open the pictures for a directory, I would do cd pictures, where again we want to find out the contents of this picture directory, and to do so we use ls again. And bear in mind that the picture directory with the capital P is different than the picture directory with the smaller p. Okay, so everything here is almost case sensitive. In this case, it looks like there are 4 pictures of dogs. Do we have this picture directory? We don't have. Okay. Outputting the contents of a file, cat concatenate. Whilst knowing about the existing of the file is great, it's not all that useful unless we are able to view the content of them. We will come on to discuss some of the tools available to us that allows us to transfer files from one machine to another in a later room. But for now, we are going to talk about simply seeing the content of the text files using a command called cat. Okay, cat with small c is a short for concatenating, and is a fantastic way for us to output the contents of the file, not just text files. Cat is a command usually available out of the box, and if you are doing reverse shell and a lot of pivoting around the servers, aligning servers, so the cat command is really helpful because you don't need to install anything on the servers in order to see the contents of the file. Okay, so this is cat command is really useful, and you will use it a lot. In the screenshot below, we can see how I have combined the use of ls to list the files within the directory called documents. Okay, and then cat to do.txt. Okay, we have applied some knowledge from earlier in this task to do the following. Use ls to let us know what files are available in the document folder of this machine. In this case, it is called todo.txt. We have then used cat space todo.txt to concatenate output the contents of the todo.txt file, where the contents all here. Something important for me to do later. Okay, pro tip, you can use cat to output the content of a file within directories without having to navigate to it by using cat and the name of the directory and the file. Okay. Sometimes things like username, password, yes, really, flags or configuration settings are stored within files where cat can be used to retrieve this. This is very true. Okay, finding out the full path to our current working directory, pwd. You will notice as we progress through navigating your Linux machine, the name of the directory that you are working in will be listed in your terminal. It is easy to lose track of where we are on the system exactly, which is why I want to introduce pwd. the print working directory. This stands for print working directory. Using example machine from before, we are currently in the document folder. By where is this exactly on the Linux machine file system? We can find this out using this pwd command like within the screenshot. We have already done so. Okay, let's break this down. We already know we are in document thanks to our terminal, but at this point in time we have no idea where documents is stored so that we can get back to it easily in the future. I have used the pwd print working directory command to find the full file path of this documents folder. We are hopefully told by Linux that the documents directory is stored at the home Ubuntu and documents. Okay, they are saying there is ls cd ubuntu ls. Oh, there is nothing, no directory at all. Okay, so let's go to the home, ls cd try hack me, and we are back. Okay, now in the future, if we find ourselves in a different location, we can just use cd home ubuntu documents to change our working directory to the documents directory. Okay, on the Linux machine that you apply, how many folders are there? 4. Or do I know? I can see there 4 folders. Which directory contains a file? Which directory contains a file? Okay, let's go with folder 1, nothing. Folder 2, nothing. Folder 3, nothing. Folder 4, yeah, folder 4 have it. Folder 4. What is content of this file? Sure, we'll use cat folder 4 and then the hello world. I will just write this down. Okay, instead of copy pasting, use the cd command to navigate to this file and find out the new current working directory. Sure, so go to the folder 4. We are in the folder 4, pwd, and this is what they are looking for. I will just highlight and right click, it will copy, and I put it here, and we are good to go. Awesome, we are already on task 6, 18 minutes into the video. Okay, task 6. Okay, searching for the files. Although it doesn't seem like it so far, one of the redeeming features of the Linux is truly how efficiently you can be with it. With that said, you can only be as efficient as you are familiar with it. Of course, as you interact with the OSs such as Ubuntu, over time an essential command will, like those we will already cover, will start to become muscle memory. Okay, that is very true. One fantastic way to show just how efficient you can be with system like this is using a set of commands to quickly search for files across the entire system that our user has access to. No need to consistently use cd and ls to find out what is where. Instead, we can use commands such as find to automate things like this for us. This is where Linux starts to become a bit more intimidating to approach, but we will break this down and ease you into it. Awesome. Using find. The find command is fantastic in the sense that it can be used both very simply or rather complex depending upon what it is you want to do exactly. However, let's stick to the fundamental first. Take the snippet below and we can see a list of the directories available to us. For example, ls, desktop, document, picture, and folder 1. Now, of course, directories can contain even more directories within themselves. It became a headache when you are having to look through every single one just to try and look for specific files. We can use find to do just this for us. let's start simply let's start simple and assume that we already know the name of the file we are looking for, but can't remember where it is exactly. In this case, we are looking for password.txt. Let's try that. Okay, let's go to the cd home directory and let's try to find passwords.txt. Oh, we don't have permissions, but we did not find anything. Where the command will look through every folder in your current directory for that specific file, like so. Okay. Find has managed to find the file. It turns out it is located in the folder one password.txt. Sweet. So this is the file it found. Maybe multiple, if there are multiple files with different paths, it will also show it here. But let's say that we don't know the name of the file or want to search for every file that has an extension such as .txt. Let us do that too. Okay, let's do that. So instead of the file, let's go with text. As you can see, we have a lot of permissions, access denied, but we find it in the folder here. So let's go inside the try hack me as well. Okay, and if I run the same command, as you can see, the note is there in the folder 4. All right. Find has managed to find the file. It turns out that it is located. We done so. We have also done so this command. Okay, awesome. Find has managed to find the password.txt located within the folder 1 and to-do.txt located within the documents. That wasn't so tough, huh? Yeah, of course. Use grep. Grep is very useful tool, and you will be using a lot in many of the advanced commands that you will learn on tryhackme.com. Another great utility that is a great one to learn about is the use of grep. The grep command allows us to search the contents of the file for specific values that we are looking for. Take, for example, the access log of the web server. In this case, the access log of a web server has 244 entries. That is correct. Where is the access log? Okay. Why are they using wc access log? We have 302, by the way. Using command like cat isn't going to cut it too well here. Let's say, for example, if we want to search this log file to see the things that a certain user IP address visited, looking through 244 and isn't all the efficient, considering we want to find a specific value. We can use grep to search the entire contents of this file for any entries of the value that we are searching for. Going with the example of a web server access log, we want to see everything that the IP address 18.143.211.90 has visited. Note that this is a fictional. Okay, even the fictional, let's try that. 81.143.290, and the file is access log. Of course, nothing is found. grep has searched through this file and has shown us any entries of what we have provided, and that is contained within this log file for the IP. Use grep on the access log to find the flag that has a prefix of thm. What is the flag? That has prefix of thm. So let's go with the previous command. We will just search for thm and let's see. thm. Okay, so flag is thm access. Awesome. And I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Okay. Task 7. An introduction to shell operator or cell operator. Okay. Linux operators are a fantastic way to power up your knowledge of working with Linux. There are a few important operators that are worth noting. We will cover the basics and break them down accordingly to bit-sized chunks. At an overview, I am going to be showcasing the following operators. Okay, single AND operator, double AND, greater than, and double greater than. Okay, all of them are very important. This operator allows you to run the command in the background of your terminal. So if we run the command in the background, that means you or your terminal will not be blocked. Okay, and you can issue new commands at the same time. Okay. And then this operator allows you to combine multiple commands together in one line of your terminal. It's very important in some of the hacking scenarios. Okay, and greater than sign or arrow sign, right arrow sign. Okay, this operator is redirector. If you have the programming background, you will always say it greater than sign. But in here it is called redirector, meaning that we can take the output from a command such as cat to output a file and direct it somewhere else. Okay, and then have double direction file. This operator does the same function of the redirector operator, but appends the output rather than replacing it, meaning nothing is overwritten. Awesome. Let's cover this in a bit more detail. Sure. And operator. This operator allows us to execute commands in the background. For example, let's say we want to copy a large file. This will obviously take quite a long time and we will leave us unable to do anything else until the file successfully copies. And shell operator allows us to execute a command and has it run in the background, such as this file copy, allowing us to do other things. You will say that, okay, man, in the Ubuntu there are many. The terminal is now very advanced. You can create multiple tabs. Let me show you. For example, you can create a new tab and let the process run in this just one tab, and we can just go to this next tab and issue new commands. Okay. So in some of the hacking scenario, you only have, for example, just one RCE, remote code execution. Okay, so that means if you need to issue a lot of commands, which will take a lot of time, and you don't want it to be blocking your other command execution, so what you do is you put the process in the background. So the process will be running in the background, and you can at the same time issue new commands there. Okay. Operator and this shell operator is a bit misleading in the sense of how familiar it is its pattern, and unlike the AND operator, we are using the double AND to make a list of the commands to run. For example, command 1 and command 2. However, it's worth noting that command 2 will only run if command 1 was successful. Okay, it's kind of programming language sort of logic here. Operator greater than or redirector. In this case, this operator is what's known as an output redirector. What this essentially means is that we take the output from a command we run and send that output to somewhere else. A great example of this is redirecting the output of the echo command that we learned in the task. For, of course, running something such as echo howdly will return howdly. Okay. Back to our terminal. That isn't super useful. What we can do instead is redirect howdly to something such as new file. Let's say we want to create a file named welcome with the message hey. We can run echo hey and redirect this output to the file called welcome without any extension, where we want file created with the content hey. Let's do that. Echo hey, because there is no word having space, so hey will just work fine. So if we say, as you can see, the welcome file is created here. Let's do a cat on that, and hey is there. Awesome. So we covered all of this. Note, if the file welcome already exists, the content will be overwritten. Okay. Because we are using just single redirector here. So what about double redirector? This operator is also an output redirector like the previous operator we discussed. However, what makes this operator different is that rather than overwriting any counters within the file, for example, it instead just put the output at the end. Following on with our previous example where we have the file welcome that has the counters of hey, if were to use echo to add hello to the file using the just single redirector operator, the file will now only have the hello, not hey. And if we use the double operator, double arrow operator or double redirector operator allows to append the output to the bottom of the file rather than replacing the content. Okay, let's do that. Echo hello and redirect it to the welcome. And if we do cat welcome, hello and welcome both are there. And because there is a carriage return at the end of the word, that's why it is displaying on two separate lines. Okay, if we wanted to run a command in the background, what operator would we want to use? This is very simple. And okay, if I wanted to replace the content of a file name password with the word password 123, what would my command be? Okay, so we want to echo password 123. We want to replace, right? Yeah, replace, and the file is this one, so it should work. Okay, now if I wanted to add try-hackme to the file name passwords but also keep the password 123, what would my command be? Okay, so in this case try-hackme and passwords, it should work without any issue. Now use the deployed Lining machine to put these into practice. I have done it already. Okay, we're back to the conclusion. Cascade, conclusion, and summaries. Nice work. We work on getting to this stage. We covered quite a bit for your first instructions with the Linux. It's not quite a bit, but if you're doing it for the very first time, maybe it is overwhelming sometimes. However, these are the most essential functions you are going to be using whenever you interact with a Linux machine. I hope this room hasn't been too daunting for you to power on through with. It's as I previously mentioned, you are going to become familiar with these things very quickly because of how often you are going to be using them. That is very true. To quickly recap, we are covering the following. We have covered the following. Understanding why Linux is so commonplace today. Interacting with your first ever Linux machine. Ran some of the most fundamental commands. Had an introduction to navigating around the file system and how we can use commands like find and grep to make finding data even more efficient. Power up your commands by learning about some of the important shell operators like and arrow and all the things. Take some time to have a play around in this room. When you feel a little bit more comfortable, progress into the room which is Linux Fundamental Part 2. We'll do that. I have played around. Yeah, I have done it already. If you haven't, you can do it as well. With the part 2 of the Linux fundamental series, we will do it. Terminate the machine deployed in this task. Okay, we'll do that. Here we have terminated the machine. Okay, machine is terminated. And then the fundamental part 2, we'll do that. I click on the complete, man. Oh, it is taking time. Awesome, guys, we have done it finally. Redeem your tickets. Let's do that. Try hack me baseball cap. $20 swagger. Okay, so before we do that, let's go to the tickets. And okay, so I have a $20 swag, I have $10 swag, I have 1 day streak freeze, I have $50 Amazon voucher, and many more. Okay, so once we come back, we will start the Linux fundamental part 2. So guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, help us grow the community. And if you have any comments, please mention in the comment section below and I will reply you for sure. Thank you guys for joining me on this journey, and I will see you in the next round. Bye.